Page 32, estimate products and quotients. Let's take a look at a couple of these terms just to make sure we know what they are. What is a product, mathematically speaking? Not like a product you buy, but yes. Sure. Answer when multiplying. So then that must make the quotient. Yes. Good. Answer when dividing. Now, there's going to be a little bit of method to how these are done. We can use rounding, which an example would be something like this. We'd use rounding for. Rounding is the method that you'd probably be most familiar with, and I don't know if rounding is more associated with the multiplication part of it. It depends. You'll see when we get to the next method how they can be viewed. So if I were trying to estimate the product in this case, and the point is, again, you want to try to get as close to the actual answer as possible without having to do a whole lot of work, like work on your paper. So 46, I would round to what? Say 50. And then 88, I could easily round to 90. Good. Now, you don't have to skip all the way up to 100, because if we have these values that have the 0 after them, it makes it really easy to do. Now, if you haven't learned this trick yet, we'll take the 5 times the 9. Liam? 45. But you know 50 times 90 is going to be 45. Then I look at the number of zeros that I have, so I add 2 zeros. So 4,500 would be a reasonable estimate using rounding for that particular problem. Any questions? Yes. This would be the answer. You try one. Give it a shot. 39 would round to Alexis. 37 would round to. Good. 4 times 4, Alexis. How many zeros? 1,600. Very good. All right. Good. Now, number 2, 34 times 319. So 34, we're going to round to, Larissa, 30. 319, we're going to round to what? Edsel. We could do 320, but if it's in the hundreds, now let's round in the nearest hundred. 300. Okay, so that's kind of where it's a little bit different. You may be rounding some of these factors to different place values, and that's okay, because we want to be able to use our trick. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros, and will give us 9,000. Okay, so the process pretty much stays the same. Let me give you one to try now. Another one to try. 59 and 2,854. 259 goes to Desan. And 2,800, Desan? 3,000, very good. So 6 times 3, 18 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 180,000. How many of you got it? Good. Are we ready to move on? Awesome. Well, not quite yet. There is one other part. If our lesson was estimating products and quotients, we've covered the products. Compatible numbers is the method that you'll primarily use when we divide. What does it mean if things are compatible? You know what that means, Alexis? Easy. Easy? Well, you're only telling us half the story. Compatible. Yeah? Close to the original number. It's not really going to help us too much. You'll understand when we get there. Yes? Cheater. She read the definition in the book. But if you think of it in terms of like computer software, if you make a trip to Best Buy and you are buying a computer program for your Mac, what do you have to make sure you buy? What do you need to make sure that you buy when you do that? Or what section of of Best Buy should you buy it from? Lexus? Yes, the computers, but that's pretty broad. You know how many different kinds of computers are out there? Carlos? Not for a Mac. Apparently Macs are virus proof. But anyway. I better make sure on the box that it says, right, it would be compatible to use with a Mac. You wouldn't put an Xbox 360 disc into a PS3. They're not compatible. I like to think of, that old married couple that's been together for 50 years. They might be considered compatible. They work well together. So we may think of these numbers that they're easier to use. They work well together. And the difference between division and multiplication is I can take any two numbers and multiply them. There are no restrictions. Give me a number. 12. Give me another number. Good. I can multiply those together. You had to pick 12 and 36. Give me a number. 7. Give me another number. 18. Can I take 18 and divide it by 7? No. So I can multiply any two numbers, but I cannot divide just any two numbers. They have to be compatible. Very good. Okay. Now, I don't know why they write it this way, but 477 divided by 7. Okay? Now, if you're like me, you'd probably rather multiply than divide. And that's what makes division a little bit more difficult, is that you can't just take any two numbers and divide them. Now, if you have this portion and it's a nice, easy number to work with, how many of you know your sevens? You know your multiplication tables? You know your sevens. Good. Do we have a visitor or someone by the door? Oh, Mr. Heffelfinger. It's Mr. Martin's? Oh, he gave me a gift? What, he wrote his autobiography? All right, 477 divided by 7. Now, we know our sevens. We're familiar with our sevens. But 400, let's do this. If it's a 3-digit number, 4-digit number, 5-digit number, I still want to look at just the first two digits. Okay? Let's look at the first two digits. I'm going to ask myself a question. What number closest to 47 is divisible by 7? Think of your 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. 40. Which one closest to 47? Say. No. Frank. 49. 49, Zay, is how many away from 47? And 42 is 5, right? So this one's just a little bit closer. So we're going to use the 49, but I still have an extra place here, so what am I going to use there? Yep. Okay? Good? Now, 49 divided by 7 is 7 with a 0. There it is. Okay? Well, we'll try a few more. Try a few more, not a big deal. $691 divided by 5. First thing you always want to look at is this part, what you are dividing by. You want to make sure that what you're dividing by is something you can use, something you're familiar with. How about 5? You know your 5s? Yes. So where am I going to look first for this 691? It's a 3-digit number. Right. Yeah, I'm going to look at these first two digits as the 69. Now I'm asking myself the question again. What number closest to 69 is divisible by 5? Maya? Go up from 60. 5 more.
Oh, 65.
Then 5 more. 70?
Yeah.
How many away from 70 is 69 and 70? Just one. Let's use 70. So, what is 70 divided by 5? Well, 50 divided by 5 is 10, right? So how many more 5s do we use on top of the 10? Zay?
These 4.
4, so a total of
140.
14 plus the extra 0? 140. Son. Well, what is 70 divided by 5? It is the 14. What do you need, Joe? What's the matter? Does it say it on the list there? So 140 is what we're looking at there, okay? Now, you're not always going to be using just single-digit numbers. You may also run into and this is how you might see them. It's just fine. First one we're going to look at always is what we are dividing by. Do you know your 12s well enough? Well, we don't know for sure yet. Let's see what we're working with. I mean, you know some of your 12s, right? 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 60. Would I have 63? So if I make this a 60 with a 0, how many times does 12 go into 60? Does Rihanna? 5 with how many left? The 0, right? 1 0 left? 50. Number 1 on the worksheet, 2-1, right at the top, estimate products and quotients. 56 times 29. Now we're back to rounding. What are you going to round 56 to, Eli? 60, very good. And 29 would round to, Faith? 30. And remember how this works. We're going to take the 6 times the 3, and that's 18, and 1 0 here, and another 0 here gives us 1,800. Number 2. Now we've got a division. 890 divided by 91. Now the first thing I want to look at is what I'm dividing by. So I might not know my 91s very well, but could I use something else that might be a little easier? Frank? Okay, now you say, well, wait, I don't know my 90s very well either, but what is it that you know? Your 9. So we're going to focus on that 90. And we're going to say, all right, what number closest to 89 is divisible by 90? Or you could say, what number closest to 89 is divisible by 9? It'll work the same way. Yeah. Edsel? It's 90. So we'll make that a 90 with the extra 0. Okay. Now, 90 into 90, how many times? Once. And I've got this leftover 0 here, so that would make it 10. What could you do to check if you weren't sure? Until you really get comfortable with this, what could you do to check? Carlos? I could take the 90, multiply it to the 10, and I should get 900, right? Number 3. Back to, nope, still division. 861 divided by 72. First thing we're looking at, what we're dividing by. I don't know my 72s very well off the top of my head. So what should I use? Because I know Casimir. Yeah, let's use 70. Which essentially, what are we going to be using from the 70? 7, right? So I can go ahead and say, all right, what number closest to 86 is divisible by 7? Now, you think of your 7s? Well, 86 is pretty high. So I could use what as a starting point? Maybe 70, right? 7 times 10, 70. So I can go up from there. 77, 84. 84 sounds pretty good, right? And I'm keeping track. 84 divided by 7, 12. And these zeros pretty much cancel each other out. Okay? Before I use the 0 in the answer. So I don't have any other zeros left over, do I? So it's just a 12. And again, you can go back, like Carlos said, and you can check. What's 12 times 7? 84 with an extra 0 gives us our 840 that we're looking for. Try number 4. 526 times 31. $526 rounds 2. Desmiana? 31, Casimir? 5 times 3, Casimir? And how many zeros? Just 3. Okay, 15,000. Got it? Yes? All right, one more. Number. Well, we can do 5 right now. It's easy. 49 goes to 50. 71 goes to 70. 5 times 7 with 2 zeros. 3,500. You all agree that the multiplication is a little bit easier to handle, right? Way more easier. You have English class today? Don't skip English class. 5,200 divided by 261. Sometimes the ones that look the hardest are actually not that hard. Okay, so again, I might not know my 261s very well. I don't think you got that high when you memorized your multiplication tables. So I'd always look at the first 2 digits, right? If I just, for a second, estimating is supposed to make things a little bit easier. And we're looking for numbers that work well together. 26 and 52. What number closest to 52 is divisible by 26? Eli? Liam? 52. Is 52 divisible by 26? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, so we'll use the 52. What is 26 divided by 50, or 52 divided by 26, you said is 2. And I got a 0 here. I can cross 1 out. Do I have any zeros left? Just that one. 20 is good enough. Okay. Yes? Sure. Where do we leave off? 6? How about this? I'll let you pick one more from 7 through 22 that you'd like to see because it looks way too difficult for you to handle. 21? How many of you for number 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of you for 21? 1, 2, 2, 3. All right, looks like number 9. Okay. Now, we're going to focus here first. 621. I think it's 62. I'm not ringing a bell here with 62 and like 522. It's just not coming to me right away. So I might not want to use 62. What might I want to use? 60 or just like the 6 with 2 zeros afterward, right? So now I can look back at what I started with. What number closest to 52 is divisible by that 6? Think of your 6s now. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. Which one do you think? Liam?
48.
48. 48 is 4 away. 48 is 4 away from 52.
Oh, 54.
Let's use 54. So 54 with how many zeros? Okay. So I can go right ahead and cross off these 2 zeros and cross off 2 zeros there. They've got all those in common. It works the opposite with division than it does with multiplication. All right, so 54 divided by 6. Yeah. 54 divided by 6. Hassan, 9. Do I have any leftover zeros? There it is. Now, is it really that difficult?
No. Oh, and you do it. It's easy.
If you focus on the 6, okay, the only way you're really going to get better at these, and it's painful to hear it, but you have to just kind of work through some on your own.
Oh, man.
I could sit up here all day and do these, and you could say, oh, yeah, this is great, I'm getting better. But again, you could watch me shoot free throws all day. It's not going to make you any better, just watch. Okay? So you're going to finish off numbers 1 through 22, whatever is left on your sheet. I don't remember which ones we did in class and which ones we didn't. So worksheet 2-1, and I'm just going to put down 1 through 22. It's going to look like a lot, but we did more than a handful of these in class.